Hello and welcome to another episode of Mysteries with a History, where I'll take you on a wild ride into the unknown, the strange, and the mysterious. Like you, I have questions, and like you, I want answers. There's more to this world than most think or believe. Mysteries that stretch back into murky epochs of time, that hint of other realms, other worlds, and other intelligences. We're on this journey together. With each episode, we'll peel away the layers to look for the truth. Hello to everyone in the live chat and to all of my viewers and listeners. How is it going? Deranged Lunatic, thank you so much for the super sticker. Egypt is a land of many mysteries that date back to ancient times, and to this day, discoveries are being made which challenge established theories and notions regarding how long civilization existed in those lands. From the Sphinx, which appear to predate the classical Egyptian dynastic period, to the pyramids, which present so many mysteries yet demand respect from all those who observe them. We have a lot to cover today. So, to help me with this immense subject, let me bring in Jimmy Church of Fade to Black Radio. Jimmy, how's it going? How's it going, Jimmy? I'm really liking the glasses. I wish I could have put my glasses on as well. We could have been matching.
I'm so glad to be back. Thank you, Cristina, and I hope that everybody missed me. Did everybody miss me just a little bit? My eyes. I probably this is what I think. I physically went to the edge and tested myself. I think my body is still getting its supplies of minerals and things restocked in the warehouses because it was tough, and I physically, was just exhausted. And then coming back and it's plane trips and everything else, and getting straight back to it in the show, work, doing all. I tuckered out, and everything was fine. And then I was getting ready for the show a couple days ago. It's like, man, I got to wear glasses tonight for the show. I just got to do it. And things are better today, but I'm going to stick with it for a couple of days and give my eyes a rest.
I know what you mean. And with this show today, it is in honor of you going to Egypt, spending 2 weeks there, including your birthday as well. So for those that haven't said happy birthday, let's do it all right now. Happy birthday, Jimmy. And in today's show in particular, I remember I called you and I said, what do you want to cover for the mysteries of Egypt? Like, you just went there. I'm going to ask you so many questions. And you were just listing all of these things. And I wrote it on a tiny post-it note, like a silly person. And I had to get like several post-it notes to attempt and just write down everything that you told me. So today, while we will be sharing some historical accounts, some things that are classified as strange, for the most part, I think I'm just going to kind of be asking you questions because you spoke to so many people while you were in Egypt, but you also experienced a lot. And this is one of the topics that really hits home for you. You have done extensive research over the not years, but decades on this country. And as you've mentioned on your show, Fade to Black, so many times, is that you really resonate with Egypt specifically. Out of all the countries, Egypt is like, in a sense, kind of like your second home, even though you've only been there once, and that was just last week.
Yeah, I think that goes for everybody. I'm certainly not unique there. I think we all have a connection to Egypt, and I think it all starts, at a very young age when you see like, King Tut's gold, a funeral mask, and you see, it's so beautiful, and you just can't help but get sucked in because it's probably the most perfect piece of art, on the planet, and it's so old anyway. I think we all resonate with Egypt and have been fascinated with it. And to get the opportunity to finally go, I'm still unpacking. Literally, my suitcases are still packed. I'm on a flight tomorrow. I've got to do some stuff. Anyway, I'm still unpacking the information and thinking about it every single day, and these moments. I took a couple of thousand photographs, and going through the files, which are, it's just ginormous. Everything stirs another emotion. It's like, why did I take this picture? Oh, that's why. Okay. And there were just so many moments. Now, that being said, we'll visit all of this stuff in the show today. I have some exclusive video that I'm going to show here today on your show for the first time. And we'll get to that. It's insane. And I have some photographs that I haven't shown anybody yet. Some of it is duplicated, but I have some exclusive photographs that, like I said, I'm just scrolling through going, oh, there's this, there's
Through
this.
the thousands.
Man. So what I did a 250 megabyte upload that still hasn't gotten to me. So I had to go back. I had to resend and put it in smaller folders. So probably pop up during the show today, finally uploaded. But I did almost total about a gigabyte of uploads trying to go through everything. And so it's there. We won't have enough time to go through it all. We can do an Egypt part 2 next week. I have no problem with that. There's and the list that I gave Cristina, everybody, I hung up the phone and I went, oh, I forgot about boop, 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 boop. So yeah, she didn't even get it all. And listing Cristina, I'm sure that as you're writing this down, you were saying to yourself, holy crap, how can you see all of this? And we did. It's just incredible. So yeah, I remember the Serapeum isn't on your list. The Temple of Isis on the island of Philae is not on that list. And I have pictures of all of this and others. So there you go. What's on your mind, Cristina? What do you want to talk about today?
Well, Michael brings up a really good point. And first off, thank you so much for the super chat. It says, welcome back, Jimmy, from your visit. What do you think about how the pyramids were built? Great topic, Cristina. You're a star. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's start there. I think everyone wants to talk about the pyramids of Giza because it's so mysterious. And you had the opportunity not to only see the pyramids on the outside, you're able to go inside as well.
I did. Okay,
that's
so
a rare opportunity.
Let's go to a share screen real quick.
Okay, which one am I looking at?
Well, I don't know yet. Just hold on. No, I'm gonna do a picture. Okay,
all right.
Just quit jumping the gun.
I am not. I will sit still.
All right. Let me see here. Let's open up. He wants to start with Giza, the Great Pyramid, right? Okay. So let's go. Let's actually start here.
Okay.
And there you go. Let's go.
Let me.
Window. Boom.
Well, while you're doing that, because I'm not seeing it on. Oh, I see it.
There it is.
Perfect. Quickly, I would like to mention Nature Camp. Thank you so much, as always. It says, Cristina, congrats on getting your 18,000th subscriber. Yes. Thank you so much. It says, miss you, Jimmy. I am looking forward to Cristina schooling you on the technical issues. We love you.
Yeah, there you go. I look forward to that too as well. This first image, talking about the Giza Plateau. This is right before we went into the Giza, into the Great Pyramid. But this is significant for a few different reasons. So I kind of wanted to start here. First off, this camera roll is in order as the pictures were shot, right? Okay, so this comes before the Great Pyramid. And this is Billy and I standing at the Dream Stela of the Great Sphinx, which is in between the paws of the Great Sphinx. And the Dream Stela, and we're touching it here, is important because I think it was Tutmosis the fourth. He went up and just the head was above the sand. Okay, that's all that was there. And he fell asleep in front of the head of the Great Sphinx. Now, going up 3 or 4 stories in the air, 30 or 40 or 50 feet up to the neck of, you can see the line, right? Just under the chin of the Great Sphinx. That was all sand. And so he falls asleep right here at the chin This is all sand up to here. And it's kind of amazing to think about that for a second, that they didn't even know 2,500 years ago, 3,000 years ago, that there was a Sphinx buried there. It was just the head above the sand. So he falls asleep and he has a dream that there is a Sphinx, and apparently 2 Sphinxes, by the way. And so he recounts the dream and has this dream stela made. They come back and they start digging. All right. And so that's how the Great Sphinx was rediscovered. Isn't that just amazing? And that's what the dream stela is. And there's 2 Sphinxes here on the dream stela, by the way. And it has led many to believe that there is a second Sphinx somewhere in the Giza Plateau that may be still to be discovered. But so this is Billy and I, and look at the size of this as it's going up.
Unbelievable.
It's just so inspiring. And I have a video, of course, of me walking around the Sphinx. And I can pop that video up too as well. I have that. But let's go forward here. This is, I was first into the Great Pyramid. Okay, so everybody's behind me. As you can see, that is an empty tunnel in front of me as I enter it. And I snapped this picture. And I got to tell you, my heart was pounding. I'm about to enter the Great Pyramid, and I am allowed to go first. And there it is, the tunnel leading up to the Grand Gallery.
Well, Jimmy, you've mentioned that you're claustrophobic.
Yes.
In this tunnel, was it really tight or was it spacious enough for you?
It was not any deal at all. It was no big deal.
Okay.
But this is a pretty big tunnel compared to the Bent Pyramid. Okay. Now, I'll say this. The Bent Pyramid, I did it. I ascended. That tunnel is this big. It was freaky. It was hundreds of feet down, and then you have to go back. And I did I'm done with the Bent Pyramid. I have no reason to go and experience that again. But I did it, and it was amazing. After doing that and going to the Great Pyramid, this is like, I could have done that backwards. It was here you have railings in the Bent Pyramid. No, it's like this big, squeezing for hundreds of feet, on your stomach. So anyway, enough of that. So here it is. Here's the Great Pyramid, and up we go. Let's go to the next shot, and this is wide open. You walk in to the when you enter the Great Pyramid, that's all open. You just stroll in. And then you come into here. You've got to crouch down a little bit, but like I said, there's railings on both sides, and you just shimmy right up. It's not that it was actually quite fun. It was very cool. Here,
Jimmy, hold on. Android has a question. Says, where is that light coming from? Electricity, or do you know?
Yeah, magic. No, it's electricity, and it's a light bulb right in front of you. You can see there's a light. There are lights all the way up. Okay, magic. I don't mean to be sarcastic. I'm in such a great mood. I just got back from Egypt, Cristina. It was nuts, man. It was amazing. Okay, so here's the next shot. There I am. This is, by the way, this is after 12 hours of walking around Egypt, and you can see that on my face. I'm like, man, whew. But here we go. And this is, I think Liz or Billy Carson took this picture. They were behind me. And up we go. Now, I didn't take any pictures later on. I was too busy, and I apologize for that. Billy took pictures, other people, but I'm talking about on my camera roll. I didn't take any pictures from here on out. I was just too excited. And we had a camera crew. And so when I get those images, I'll show everybody. But at the top of this tunnel is the Grand Gallery. And I'm going to say a couple of things really quick. Talk about secrets of Egypt. The moment of all of this, I was so excited, and it was amazing to do. But when I got into the Grand Gallery and I'm looking up, and there it is, and it's magnificent. It's unbelievable, and it's so big, but it seemed mechanical to me, Christina. As opposed to these other sites that we went to, which we're going to be seeing here in a second, which are all very spiritual and they have meaning, and there's things that happen to you personally, and you go through these experiences, which I'm still unpacking. Not so for me with the Great Pyramid. The Sphinx, magic. I felt it. The Great Pyramid, it's mechanical. It's industrial. There's another vibe going on there.
In what way? Like, what specifically kind of gave it away for you that it looked and felt that way?
Yeah. It's a very easy point to make. You hear over and over again that there are no hieroglyphics anywhere or any artwork inside of the Great Pyramid. This is true. Every temple that you go to, everywhere, all over Egypt, hundreds of miles in every direction, there are beautiful art, inscriptions, statues, hieroglyphics, colors, this spiritual journey, this thing that is everywhere except the Great Pyramid.
Which is rather bizarre due to the fact that for quite some time that it was believed to be a tomb. Now, to this day, those thoughts are changing. But if you look at previous tombs, across Egypt, you're right. It's all about taking the body from this life to the afterlife.
It's magic. Yes, it's
hieroglyphs everywhere. But in this case, from what you're saying, there's none of that. And that kind of breaks the norm.
It's completely absent. So imagine, you walk through a museum of art. Okay? You go through an art museum and you see the beauty. And then a couple of hours later, you go to a Ford Mustang factory. And you walk through there. You're not going to see the beauty. You're going to see a factory. You're going to see industry. And that's what I'm saying here. You see all the beauty. You see all the magic all over Egypt. And then you go to the Great Pyramid, and it's impressive because it's huge. It's magnificent. It's wonderful. It's amazing. But it's industrial. It's void of beauty. It's crazy. It's crazy. There's no aesthetic magic going on there. And that's my impression. But you hear it often enough. But when you see it for yourself, because you can go from, the Dream Stela and the Great Sphinx, just a short distance away in the Giza Plateau, and then you enter the Great Pyramid, and no, it's void of that distinction, that magic. It's a weird feeling, and I'm not trying to disappoint people. It was built for a purpose, and there was some crazy stuff going on. Was it energy? Was it teleportation? Was it this? I don't know, and I hope that we get those answers. But it is void of the magic and the impact that you get from other sites. So let's move on.
Well, actually, no, I do want to stay on Egypt in the sense of, not Egypt, but the Great Pyramids in the sense of how big these rocks were, how long it take to build and things like that, but also the batteries as well.
Yes.
Sever, thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you. Because Jimmy, I know you're so stinking excited, but we really have to also kind of, there's so much to cover. It's unbelievable. But
ask. And,
okay.
But this is to continue with the Great Pyramid. Okay. So after I came out, right, and everybody was doing their thing, and I come out, I'm by myself. Okay. So let's get back to the Great Pyramid for a second so everybody can understand what I am trying to say. I came out and I was alone. Okay. There's nobody there. And normally you see thousands of tourists all over the place. There's police, there's camels, there's things, there's people selling you T-shirts. It's all over the place. It's crazy. It's madness. But they emptied it for us. So here I am outside of the Great Pyramid, and I want you to look in the background. There was nobody there. And I was able to just look, study it, touch it, and just have my own moment. Well, for about 45 minutes. I shot video. These are selfies, and I walked along the base of the Great Pyramid by myself. Now I want you to, and like this picture here. If you look in the background, you see how rough these stones look, right? They look all out of place when you're up close. Now look in the background and look at the edge. Look how perfect it is. It's utterly, divinely perfect. The engineering, they talk about it all the time, but I was by myself. And I'm taking it all in, and that's why my eyes are worn out. I'm telling you, I just looked at every nook and cranny and crevice, and that's what you see here. I'm completely alone. Let's go to this next picture. So again, this defies logic to me, because if you look at this image, and as we all know, those are the stones, but we know that this was smoothly finished in finely polished limestone, and right below my feet. So all of this was interlocked with this. And you go up and you look at these grooves, and you look how all of this is placed and how smooth this is. This was the original outside of the pyramid. Now, there's nobody around me to interrupt my thought, right? And I look down and you see this, and then you turn around and imagine this entire pyramid finished like that. It's beyond, it's a WTF moment. It's like, how did this get done 5,000 years ago? I need help understanding this. I have done so much research into this, Cristina, and I've done nothing but question everything. Now I have returned from looking at this up close and seeing this. The images and the videos that I've seen in the past don't do it justice. And when you go and I'm standing above this and I'm looking at how this is done, and now let's zoom in. Look at the finish work here of these casing stones and how they interlock. Look at just utterly smooth and perfect. Just look at this. It's crazy town. And that's the original exterior of the Great Pyramid. So it's industrial. It's built for a purpose. And I hope to one day find out, like the rest of us, just what the heck this was built for and what was its use, because it's remarkable to see. Let's go to the next image. So again, I want everybody to understand I'm alone. That's our 2 tour buses. Everybody's inside the Great Pyramid. I'm alone. There's nobody here. And just 6 hours before, there was probably 10,000 people standing here. The police came in and cleared it all out, and I am able to I want you to look. There's nobody in the Giza Plateau. Completely and utterly alone. And then I turn and and the reason why I snapped this picture is because of all of this. And what you're looking at here, this is the foundation stones. This is what the Great Pyramid is built on top of. Again, these are blocks. You can see them. They're blocks. They're laid out. They are carved. Each one of these blocks, you can see them here and here and here, and you can see one here. You can see one here. They go on and on and on. Each one of these weighs more than a car. And this goes on for a dozen acres. It's relentless. It's non-ending, and you just have to go back and go, WTF. Somebody help me understand how this was done and how this was built 5,000 years ago. I'm not saying it was aliens, but something went on. It doesn't none of it makes any sense. I've left Egypt with more questions than answers, which is exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't go there to seek answers. I got there I went there to see it for myself. And you just walk away just like, man, we're we've been lied to, and you just see the ginormity of it all and the beauty of it all, and it just doesn't make any sense. It's the most dynamic part of the entire trip. Is, like I said, I'm still unpacking it. I came back. Can I say a bad word? I came
No.
back a little pissed off because you really do find out that Egyptologists and Zahi Hawass and all the officials and the dogma and everything that we've been, it's all BS, Cristina. It's all BS. It's all BS. It's all BS. So I've got a lot more to present here.
Well, but before you do that, we have a few super chats and stickers
Sure.
and questions as well. Oracle, thank you so much. I do appreciate you. Tasaka, Jimmy, please do the honors. It's been 2 weeks.
Tasaka.
It says, Cristina, I'm glad that I could catch your live stream with Jimmy Church. I love your show. Thank you. Android says, looks like tons of water erosion, either major flood or way older than we think. Any thoughts?
Yes, 100%. You see it everywhere. Okay, so here's a couple of points.
Thank you, Android.
And when you visit Egypt and you find this out as a fact, it's pretty astounding. It rains 3 days a year. That's it. Okay. And it's been like that for thousands and thousands of years. The country is void of water. If it wasn't for, and rain, if it wasn't for the Nile, right? And the Nile is fresh water, there's farming you've never seen so much farmland. There's just farming everywhere because of the Nile River. But rain, no. And then, so you walk around Giza and the Sphinx enclosure and everything, and you see this water erosion that hasn't happened. It hasn't rained like that in over 10,000 years, 12,000 years, 10,000 BC. Again, we need some explanations for this, because you can definitely tell with a lot of Egypt, it's much older than what they are telling us. You can see it, you can feel it. There are parts here, and this is all over the Giza plateau. But once you look in the background here, that's a temple. It's part of the temple complex, and you see that, and this is old. It doesn't match even the pyramid. You can tell. You can look at it. It doesn't. It's a completely different era. It's millennia older than however old the Great Pyramid is. This back here, and it's just sitting here, and there's probably 100 of these on the Giza Plateau. You can see that this is just an old ancient temple that is worn down by the sand, winds, and water of time. It just doesn't make any sense, and it's right there. It's you can see it for yourself, And you listen to these Egyptologists flapping their jaws all over Egypt when you go, because they're leading tour guides and stuff. They all have the same pictures. They have the same things, that the government gives them, the tourism parts of the government. They issue this to these tour guides and these Egyptologists. And I hear the same. It's just like, man, they're just spreading the dogma. We fortunately had a couple of Egyptologists that were much more like us, and it was great. So, okay, continuing. Any more questions?
Yes, Brian Young has a question. It says, weren't they covered in marble over that? Marco Polo said something about that. Well, to my knowledge, when it comes to the Great Pyramids of Giza, they were actually covered in a white limestone.
Yeah, white limestone, which is what you see here. This is white limestone. The sun is setting right now. In this picture, it's getting close to being dark. But when the sun is up, this is a totally different color. Now, it's not white. I mean, it's old, but it is a very, very light gray. This is at dusk when I was able to take these pictures.
And Brian, thank you so much for supporting the channel and our work here. Hides says, did you see the Khufu's ship?
No, that is in the Cairo Museum. That is now an empty trench, which
Oh,
is next to. No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was the Khufu. Yeah, Khufu ship. It's a trench now. It's a giant boat that was found buried on the south side of the Great Pyramid recently, too. This is a recent discovery.
oh.
And they took the ship out and they put it in its own museum. So it is not there. I would have loved to have seen it. And the Grand Museum's not open yet. I went to the new museum, which is also brand new, called The History of the Egyptian Civilization. Incredible. I've got some pictures of that. So
I
let's go
wanna
on.
see
I've
them.
got too much media to show.
Hides, thank you so much as well. All right, let's keep going.
Okay. Now, again, these are in order. So this is next on my camera roll. This is the unfinished obelisk in Aswan.
Mhm.
I'm now 500 miles south of Cairo and the Great Pyramid. I'm 500 miles away in Aswan. And this is where all of the pink granite came from that is inside of the king's chamber and different monuments all over Egypt. This is, thank you, Jessica. Very
Yeah.
cool. And now behind me, again, this just defies logic. And you see pictures of it, but to see it in person, this is 153 feet long. That's a half a football field. You can see how wide it is. I don't know, 12 feet or whatever. This is pink granite obelisk that they carved and finished, and then it cracked. And you can see the crack right behind my head right here, and it goes down the side. So they left it. But here's the thing. That's 150 feet long, 2,500 tons. How were they planning on moving that? It's the size of a 15-story building. It's 153 feet. How were they going to move that? And what kind of boat, allegedly, did they have on the Nile that could handle the displacement of 2,500 tons? Because I'm telling you right now, that's a freighter in today's world. That is a ginormous ship, a huge barge. And as far as I know, I could be wrong, but I just don't think that existed 5,000 years ago. And that's that part. But how are they going to lift it out of this trench? How and let's say that they did get it out of this trench, and they got it over to the Nile River, which is not exactly right next to the quarry, by the way. They got it into a boat. They floated it up to Cairo. How are they going to tip it upright?
These are valid
How do you
questions.
tip upright a 15-story building 5,000 years ago? Just how would you do that today? And you go and you see this for yourself in person, and you're just like, somebody's lying. Somebody's lying to me, lying to all of us. But there it is, right there. And look at my face. I'm like, huh? Yeah, it's crazy. I've got some video of this too as well. I just don't have it uploaded. Okay, now let's kind of move on. I'm looking. I've got video and some other stuff, and I'm happy to answer all of your questions. There are scoops of stone in the sides of the obelisk. Yes. Okay, so let me back up. What they're talking about is this here. Now, they had diorite, I believe it was diorite, stone balls. And that's how they carved it. And every time you hit, and this is granite, it's the hardest thing in the world, right? The only thing harder than granite is diorite. And they call it diorite because it is as hard as a diamond, right? Okay, diamond. And there are these black balls. And that was your life, 20 years pounding on a small section of stone all day long, because each time you hit it, you chipped away a little fleck of granite. So you just sat there all day long, and that's what
And if you messed up, you got to throw it away and start over. And I think that's probably the scariest part on all of that.
That's what happened here. They cracked it. And so see these grooves, that is pounding. This is all red granite. Look, you got to understand. See this? That's all red granite. This is all red granite, red granite, red granite, red granite, all the way up the side of the hill. All right. So to carve this out, see this groove and see this groove. I've got more pictures of it, but that right there, and you can see these grooves. You see these grooves? That they pounded through the granite straight down, just all day long. Just
and keep in mind, for quite some time when it comes to these structures, including the pyramids of Giza, it was believed that they were created by slaves, but later on they began to realize that you need really skilled people to go ahead and carve this precisely, 100%. Which would mean that you would need thousands, if not tens of thousands of skilled workers to create things like this. And it makes you question, where did they find all of these perfectly skilled people to create everything that's been created in Egypt?
Yeah.
So,
Cristina, all of that granite came out of here. All of the granite all over Egypt, all of these temples came out of Aswan. It is so much, just to your point, it is so much production. I mean, they just were 24/7 for hundreds of years, just never stopping. I have no idea how long it took to pound through the granite with a bowling ball. And how many were and what was involved to do this, but there it sits, and you can see it for yourself. It's mind-blowing. It is just it is so big, and I've got more examples of that.
Well, there is one question. There's a few things I want to get to, but first, Jessica, thank you so much. It says amazing topic and love the pics today, Jimmy. Thank you for sharing your Egyptian journey with us. I'm also grateful. This is so exciting, and you can definitely hear the excitement in Jimmy's voice. And let me tell you, I know that we all love it. Terry, thank you so much as well for the super sticker. Nature Cam has a question, and we can get to this now, and you can answer yes or no. Maybe we can get it to a little bit later. But Jimmy, did anything paranormal happen during your visit?
Yes.
Okay, well, we have some paranormal stories, so we will get back to that, Nature Cam, but great question. Ronan, thank you so much. It says great show, wonderful pictures. Absolutely amazing photos. And Android says granite melting point is only 1,260 degrees Fahrenheit. Maybe they had some sort of hot torch or other hot technology. What are your thoughts on that, Jimmy?
Yeah, hot technology, yes. This is one of the most amazing points that I think can be brought up. Because, and I've got some pictures here, when we get to the Serapeum, granite's melting, first off, only 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit. That is frigging hot. Okay, that's only 1,200 degrees. Number one. Number two, when you go and see, and you can see this in multiple locations over around Egypt, when you see a giant, perfectly carved, thank you, no scorch marks. That's a really good point. You see this giant 100-ton sarcophagus, right? Black granite, smooth, flat, perfect, 90-degree, perfect engineering. And then all of a sudden, you see a spot where it's melted. It's like, wait a minute, what? Now, and the reason why it's melted, you're not going to carve a melt mark. Why would you do that, right? You carve something so flat and perfect, and then you're going to carve an imperfection into it? Nah, I don't think so. It's melted. And there are spots where you can see evidence of I don't know what the technology is. I don't know what was used. I wasn't there, but there are blast marks. There's deformities where the hieroglyphics are there. The lines are there, so you can tell it started off flat and then something melted it and deformed it. And I've got some pictures. We'll get to that in a little bit. That'll better explain that. Yeah, only 1,200 degrees. Okay, so let's see. Looking at the clock, Cristina, we got all this video. We got all this stuff to show. And you just want to spend all this time on rocks.
Rocks are cool.
Yeah, rocks are way cool. Okay, now, this is a very important shot because this is from the island of Philae. And this is the temple of Isis. This is our tour guide, and his name is Jimmy. Born and raised in Giza, one of the coolest, funniest, most dynamic people I've ever met in my life, and we very quickly bonded. But I got this picture here, one, to introduce everybody to Jimmy, but to now understand we are on an island in the middle of the Nile River. Temple of Isis. Look at the size of this. Look at the size of this temple here. Look how far back it goes. It's all the way up. On the other side, this is the entrance of the temple here. On the other side of this is a row of pillars and statues. It's got to be almost a quarter of a mile long. It takes up the entire island. Now, we could talk about Giza all day long. We could talk about the Great Pyramid all day long. I think we are looking at the same length of time, the same amount of manpower to build this beautiful, ginormous, island-covering temple, right? Now, yes, the Great Pyramid, Khufu, Khafre, Bent Pyramid, Step Pyramid, Red Pyramid, they're amazing. So are these temples. So we really need to stop and appreciate what is going on all over Egypt. This is an ancient site. Let's go to this next picture. So I'm sitting on a cliff at the Temple of Isis in the middle of the Nile River. My feet are dangling off this cliff. And I just look to my left, and this is like 5 miles away. I see this thing on this top of this hill. Oh, sorry about that. And I look, and there's this is what you see in Egypt. All you got to do to see something cool is go like this. Just look. Turn your head just a little bit. And then you see something like this, just sitting up. It was, to give you an idea, I can't reduce this down. This, from my perspective, as I was sitting there, was like that big, way off in the distance on this hill. And I zoomed in with my cell phone and grabbed the image. And there it is. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just sitting over there on a hilltop. But these are things that you just don't hear about, or you don't see about. You don't see much about, but I grabbed it. Now, to give you an idea, again, of the size of what we're talking about, this is me. That image that you just saw prior, I'm facing that here. So it's over the camera person's shoulder. But look at this temple. This had a roof on it. Again, you can see here, you can see the doorway. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 stories tall. That's 5 stories tall. And this is one of thousands of temples like this that are all over Egypt. And so to talk about the Great Pyramid, yeah. Okay, 20 years, yeah. Look at this. This wasn't built in a day. This wasn't a summer gardening project where you're planting flowers in your rose garden. No. And this covers the entire island. Behind me, you can see this wall. This wall goes down a cliff. This is where my feet were dangling, and I had a total supernatural experience, spiritual experience. right before this. This wall goes down about 75 feet to the shore's edge. Then there's a boat ramp, and you can see the rocks laid out into the Nile, and that's where the boats came up, 3,000 years ago and parked. But this covers this right here, what you're looking at. This right here covers this entire island. So there you go.
Well, are you going to share your experience?
Oh man. Okay.
Even just slightly?
All right. I'm going to make this brief because it's first off, it's a very long story. Number two, it's very personal. And three, I don't know what the bleep happened. All right. So I'm still unpacking it, but this is the deal. So I'm over here. Let's back up. I'm inside the temple, which is here. And while I'm inside of the temple, everybody here is walking to this little market. There's a little refreshment stand, coffee thing over here. And but I'm inside the temple and my head starts going. So I come out of the temple over here and I walk across where everybody else is. And I get a bottle of cold water from the market. And then I walk back out drinking the water. And I go out past this temple. This temple is where I'm sitting here. Okay. So I see right here. This is the market. You see it down here?
Kind of.
Okay. All right. That's the market. So I come out, I round the corner, and I come over here. And right here, this is the edge of the cliff. And I sit down. And as I sit down, I've got the cold water, my head stops spinning and my feet are dangling off the edge of the cliff. And I'm looking at the Nile River and I'm kind of taking it all in. And then, boom, up my back. So I'm sitting on this rock and it goes right up my back, base of my back. And it was like electricity and it's rolling. It goes right up my neck. And then I put my hands down on, I'm 100 feet above these rocks. I'm way up on this cliff. And so I put my hands down, I'm kind of hanging on, and I close my eyes, and it just rolls up and goes right out of my forehead. I can feel it. And then I'm just sitting there, and I open up my eyes, and everything is like in panchromatic technicolor. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to share anything else. I'm still unpacking it. But as this is going on, and I'm just kind of looking around, I don't understand. I don't have a coach. How do I have somebody with me going, okay, so Jimmy, this is what you're experiencing? No, I'm by myself, right? And so as this is going on, these two friends come up, Matthew and his fiance, Eva. Very cool people. He puts his hand on my shoulder and he goes, "Hey, man, what's going on?" I sit. I was in this thing, and they sit down, and we're sitting there dangling our feet off, and we sat there for like a half hour, 30 minutes, and just watching the Nile roll by. It was extraordinary. I'll share more about that experience later. But this went on a few times a day at different sites.
Few times a day.
Yeah. It's very powerful. Very powerful.
Oh, I know that you're still attempting to unpack that. And if that's happening so consistently, it can be kind of difficult. But from your knowledge of it right now, why do you think it was happening to you so often?
It's happening to everybody. We had 75 people on our tour. 67 of them were just people like you and I. The other 10, security and the camera crew and stuff. So we had about 75. At some points, we had 80 people on our tour. 67 people were experiencing this for the first time. And we would all get together and talk at night. We would talk on the ship. We would talk in the morning over breakfast. We would talk during the day. And I'm serious. I just saw people just brought to tears. Eva, we were at Dendera, and Eva, let me see here. Hold on for a second. Okay, I've got a picture of Eva and I, Matthew's fiance. So we're at Dendera. Eva, if you hear this or see this, I apologize for sharing something so private and personal. But I come out and I'm in the front of the temple of Dendera, and I'm doing an interview with these Russian scuba divers. They were in wheelchairs. And so they had me come up and talk to them, the big documentary film crew from Russia. So I'm out there doing that, and I turn around and I see Shah coming out with Eva, and she's holding her, and I look, and Eva has just got tears and just coming down, and she sits down and just an emotional state that happened over and over again. And it's just you get overpowered with this. And she sat there. I went over and sat next to her, and what's going on? It was lovely. She just went through it. It was just incredible. It was just incredible. And it happened over and over and over and over and over again with so many of our friends. It was just amazing. It was amazing. You know how when you were a kid and you were crying uncontrollably, right? You know what I'm talking about. That's what she was doing. Yeah.
I've never cried in my life. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right. And it was wonderful to see that. And she didn't want to talk. She just wanted to just write it out, and there you go. So this next shot here. Now, see the temple behind me?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Beautiful.
Just look at that. Just look at that, man.
There have been some questions in the live chat on what happened to the roof. Were there even roofs on these temples?
Yeah, there were roofs on everything. Luxor, Karnak, Abydos.
Do you have an idea of what they were made out of?
Stone. A lot of these sites were defaced. The Greeks came in, the Romans came in, and didn't dig what was happening, and it may have been for removing the divine feminine or whatever it was. Right? They had their own reasons, and they would deface things, and so you can see here. See where the rocks are broken, right? Okay. Yeah. You can see that was all filled in. You can see the edge of it here, right? So that was all covered. And these are the remaining stones, right? You can see the edge of it. You have to go there and experience it. So here there's one that is missing, right? And there's two more probably, or maybe three that were in here. But you can see some of it is still complete. It's here, right? See?
Mm-hmm.
You can see it, but you look here and you can see where it's been broken apart, but you can see where it went across, and you see evidence of this everywhere. You have 20 outdated drivers. That's a different screen. Okay. So, yes, now let's go to this next shot. Again, just to show you the scope and the size of what we're dealing with here, just look at that. That's that. And all of it is just carved. It's breathtaking. Now, this has all been busted apart. Some of this, like here, this is Egyptian, and then this is Greek, where they've gone in and they've replaced the tops of some of these pillars. With their own finishing. Some of it is still original like this. But again, you have to see it for yourself. I love it. Look at this. Above every doorway, the winged Isis. Look at that. And that's above that doorway, which is like 3 stories tall, by the way. It's there you go. Let me look at the clock. Okay, I want to get to some of this video too as well. This is Edfu. This is the temple of Edfu. I think I may have. Let me go.
You know,
Okay.
with those doorways, it makes you question, did they have giants back in the
Yeah,
day?
I
Because
know,
those
I
things
know,
are
I know, I know,
ginormous.
I know, 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 I know. In the Egyptian Museum of Civilization, I've got some pictures of this. There is I'm going to guess and say between 20 and 25 foot wooden sarcophagus up against the wall, thin with this shape, and there was a body in that. Not a stone sarcophagus. This is the wooden one that the mummies are placed in, right? What, they had a 25-foot, and it's gorgeous too, and it's perfect, and it's coming down. So you're going to put a little 6-foot mummy inside of a 25-foot wooden sarcophagus? No, and that I'm just like, I'm going to leave that right there. I'm not going to jump to any conclusions, but I've got pictures of this, and when you see it, no, this isn't some wide, tall 20-foot box. This is a wooden sarcophagus. It's crazy. So anyway, look at me. And that's why I've got this picture posted here. Look at me and look at this doorway. And look, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, right in a row. I think that's what we're looking at here. I thought that there were more, but there you go. Look, and man, Edfu was mind blowing. Let's get to this picture of Edfu. MC Escher, the artist MC Escher, Edfu reminded me of that because you look at Edfu and it looked different to me from different angles. It just looked different to me. Like it's got a perspective from different points of view. And again, it's hard to put into words. You can see the ceiling here and how it was complete. But this is ginormous. For me to take this picture, I was standing about 10 feet off of the ground on another set of rocks. Security came and kicked me off, but I was able to grab this shot, and I really pissed this dude off, by the way. But there you go. This is me on the ground. Just to put it all in perspective, Edfu, just magical. This is the entrance to Edfu. Look at that. And again, when you see this is the size of like a pyramid. You don't get it. That's a long ways off in the distance. And so that's me. Look, just look at that. Just look at that. Is that crazy town? So now let's go back and you look at this, Cristina, and you're like, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. No. I am like this tall, and you go and you stand next to it and just look at that. Now, so see the carving right here? Okay, that's 2 stories above my head, maybe 3. That's this. Okay, I'm down. I'm just like this little dude. And he goes, like, how? It's just extraordinary. It's just extraordinary. This is the inside of Edfu. So now this is the opposite side of this wall. Okay, now this is the inside of the temple complex, and these columns. It's a big square section. It's huge, and these columns go around all 4 walls. But I grabbed this because of that right there. Just incredible. And the Temple of Horus. And Horus's face has been removed, like from here, right? Anywhere that Horus was represented, his face has been taken out.
Do you have an idea of why, by any chance?
Again, representation of the gods and the way that the Greeks and the Romans, who later invaded, they had their own versions of it, and that's it.
Okay.
I mean, there's many different stories behind it. I don't. when you go through here and you see sections of if I pull this up and you look over here, you see the god, right? Face
Yeah.
is removed, right? And you see that everywhere. See,
And
you
and
see that?
that's common across the ancient world, right? Whenever they were being conquered, they would just wipe them
Yeah, see?
just to conquer the people and their religion and their beliefs as well. Now, for those that are viewing this, if you're enjoying the show, please hit the like button. Let's get to at least 100 likes because it really does help with the YouTube algorithm. And Jimmy, we will be doing an Egypt part 2.
Sure. Yeah,
It's gonna happen. We have so much more to cover, and we're already almost done with today's show. I'm blown away.
and now see here, every one of these gods, and this is a pharaoh here. That's a pharaoh crown, but the face is removed. Face is removed. Face is removed.
Yeah.
Face is removed, and you see that everywhere. It's just so sad. But look at that. Look at that Isis
I
wings
mean,
above the door.
definitely a lot of history has been lost for those other cultures or those other tribes that have just attempted to conquer the ancient world where they would burn the books, they would burn down the temples, they would take them apart, right? So there is still so much that is missing, and I think that even though so much has happened in Egypt, so much has been wiped, we're so lucky to have some immaculate temples that are still standing today, no matter the history that they've gone through, but also their pretty extreme weather as well.
Now this is Eva, who had her emotional experience outside of Dendera. She's absolutely lovely. I had so much fun with her. This is on board the ship, and this is when we had the captain's party, and I had my full Egyptian. I had the headdress. I had the whole thing. I took it off for the pictures, but yeah, I had a white robe that went all the way to the floor, and anyway, you'll never see me wear it in public again, but I do have pictures. So there you go. But anyway, this is Eva, and I met her and her fiance Matthew the first night in Egypt, and we just hung out the entire trip. And she was really, really cool, and she really gave me a hard time. She was awesome. Okay, now let me. I'm going to pull this down, Christina. Or no, I can do it. Okay, because I want to get to some movies. Looking at the clock here, some of these movies are really long. So let's back this one up, and let's go to the one I'm touching. You can see me touching it, right?
No, I can't.
The
The first one or the second one?
the first one. Let's go to
Got
the
it.
first. Okay, so let me see if I can pause this. Okay, look at this. I'm in shock. Okay, so this is the Temple of Dendera. And what is great about this video, everybody, I want you to really appreciate what you're about to see. I'm alone in the temple. And now, as you look here, it's been said many times, but now you get to see it for yourself. Dendera, a temple dedicated to the divine feminine. It's a feminine temple, all of it. It's very, very powerful. Every square inch of this temple, from the floor to the ceiling, is carved and inscribed. Okay, and the color is all still there. And so when you see this for yourself, when you walk into this temple, and it is huge. Now, this is half of the temple. So as you see what's going on here, I'm walking from row to row to row. I think I cover 4 or 5 rows here. And I try to capture everything so you can see what's going on. Again, 50, 60 foot tall pillars. Each pillar is probably, I'm going to guess here and say 6 feet, 8 feet around. At its base is shooting up, and then I don't know how many pillars are in a row. There's a lot. You can count yourself, but pay attention to the ceiling as well. In one section here, it's just Monique and I walking through. There's been a lot of pictures of Monique posted, her and I together. And so you'll see her pop in and out. Other than that, I'm alone. So check it out.
It's incredible to still see the colors on the wall. And the hieroglyphs are just absolutely stunning. Wow.
And it's just all really gets put in perspective. Look at the size of that pillar, right? There's Monique there, and you can see her walking, and that'll put it in perspective of the size of everything. And this is just one row, and I take a step forward here, right? Now I'm in the next row, and I just kind of scan around. It's unreal. Now you can see how many of these, the defacing, right? You see where people have been removed and sections of the ceiling, but most of it is intact. But it's just unbelievable. It's magnificent. It's spiritual. It's moving. Look at that.
It's beautiful.
Dendera, just incredible. It is so big. And I keep stressing with everybody, the size of everything, how big it is. Look, you can see how tall. Now I'm getting down. Now I'm at eye level. Just look at this. It's huge. Let's see. Listen to the birds. Now, stopping it here is a really good point. I did these last 4 rows over to here. Now, just go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's all you see here. It just continues. It's just like, it's endless. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. So there's that movie. Now let's go to, okay. So now what I'm about to share with you before we get to, you can go ahead and start this next one and I'll pause it.
Okay. There it is.
Okay. So, oh God, I had to pause it like that. Oh, look, I just turned in. I took a bong hit. Okay, so this is the back of Dendera. And what I'm going to share with you, you've never heard about. I've talked to a few people that have been to Egypt many times, and I told them about this, and they had never heard about it. So this is, yeah, I'm just going to tell the story. So this is on my birthday. It's October 10th. And this is in the back of Dendera. And so we get introduced. We are told that a couple of special things are going to happen for my birthday. All right. And so one of them was we went into this temple that wasn't open for 20 years. And they bring in this priest, and we have this key ceremony, and Billy Carson opens the door, and we walk in, first people in there in 20 years, and we see a second Dendera light bulb. We're not allowed to talk. No photography, right? Can't talk. And so we see that, walk out. And then this leader of the temple, director, comes up to me and he says, okay, now I'm going to take you to an underground pharaonic lake. I said, what? We're in the middle of the desert. Sand dunes. What do you mean an underground pharaonic lake. He said, this is where the pharaohs went to cleanse themselves in ceremony. What the hell are you talking about? I've never heard about anything like this. And he says, come with me. So that's when I started shooting this video. We walk out, and you'll see it in a second. Walk out, we go across the grounds, we go to the back, and there are these 3 stones. In the middle of these 3 stones, which you'll see here, is a stairway going down about 5 stories, 50 feet into the desert. And I went and got cleansed. All right. Now, I'll finish the story in a second. Watch the video, and you'll see where the priest turns to me and tells me to shut off the camera. Here we go. Dara, there's still water there.
We're going to the original level of the city.
No photos, please.
Okay. And there it is. There's the entrance. And that's him going, right? And so I shut it off. And we go down these stairs, and you see the stones, right, that I was just telling you about. And we go down about 5 stories. Had to take off our shoes, and I'm barefoot. And we go down, and I could feel the rocks, the stones went from hot, because up here it's 105 degrees, 110 degrees. And we're walking down, and the stones are getting cooler and cooler and cooler. And it's dark. I can't see. We get down to the bottom, and I just don't want to say a whole lot, because this is a very private, sacred place. But let's just say that I heard the water. I'm in front. Jimmy's in front of me. You can see that, and that's it. We're in front. This lady on the right, they didn't go down. It was just us. Anyway, so I get to the bottom, and I cleansed. That's all I'm going to say. I'll maybe at some point. It was so private and so
Personal.
controlled and respected. Though you have to have absolute respect for the site. We weren't allowed to talk. You know, this guy here in the blue robes, I don't want to say his name or anything. He had his hand on my shoulder. I had my hand on Jimmy's shoulder, and we're in the dark, man. We went deep underground and to an underground lake in the middle of the desert. Yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts. So there you go. You can pull this down. I feel like I've just disclosed way too much, but this is the Mysteries with the History Show with Cristina Gomez, and I wanted everybody to have their own very private experience here. And I know that people are going to see this later, and I don't want a whole lot of people going up and, hey, man, where's the underground lake? Because it's been private and all of this. And I feel like I've kind of blown the lid off of this somewhat, but it was a profound experience. When I was done, I'm coming back up the stairs, and it goes down. I don't even know how to explain it. And I had to hold on to the wall, and I'm wet from head to toe, right? I'm drenched. And I put my hand on the wall, and I'm like, man, oh, geez, not now. And you can't control it, you know? And so I make it up, and I get up to the top. Sunlight. Things, you're having chemical conversions that are going on in your body. You know, pineal gland, I don't know if it's DMT, melatonin to serotonin. Things are happening. Plus, you're cooling your body off. You're going from extreme heat to, there's things that are happening. You're forcing your body to do this change. And so then you go from the complete darkness back into sunlight. It's like crazy town. So I'm dealing with all of that. And then off in the distance, I see this tiny little figure off into the sand. Jimmy. It's Elizabeth. All right. Billy's fiance. And I'm like, I don't want, I love Elizabeth to death, but right now I just need my head. I'm dealing with it. And she's walking towards me, and I split off, and we meet up in the middle. Because, this thing just happened to me over in this temple. And I'm like, man, I'm dealing with my own stuff. Elizabeth, and her and I kind of talked through this, and we went and we sat down on this rock. Let me see if I have a picture of that. Let me look here. No, I don't. I don't. So we sat and talked through it for about 20, 30 minutes. It was, again, it's just profound.
And when you have experiences like that, or even when you're traveling as well with the group for, in your case, for 2 weeks, you create this bond with these people that can never be broken after that,
never.
because you're sharing such special experiences, have it be seeing just an amazing temple or experiencing something internal that no one else can understand, but the other people that are experiencing the same thing with you.
Right. And to that point, let me share this. Man, you've got to go through this every time now, don't you? Okay, it's end screen. Okay, I got it. Okay, so bust this out.
Got it.
This is our group. Here we are in front of the bent pyramid, or the step pyramid, which, by the way, is incredible. But look at the size of this group. I know everybody's name. Oh, look at our security dude. Look at his machine gun right here. It's a little mini machine gun. It's about this big. He's great. Anyway, this is our group, and I know everybody here by name. This is Missy. She lives in Palm Springs. This is Truth. I could just go on and on all the way across. This is Liam. He's from Australia. He's just one cool guy. But this is our group. And there's Billy and I. There's Monique. Here's Eva. But just going across, everybody here. Now, he's a neighbor of mine here in Palm Springs. And he proposed on this trip. And I'm looking for his fiancée, Amy. Where's she at? Anyway, this is Jason. He's from the Bronx. I can just tell you where everybody is from. And we are friends for life. And we've got a great mailing list and a WhatsApp list where we just all hang out and talk and share. But that's us. And the step pyramid, by the way, this has always looked to me over the years to be rough. It's not. It's artistic beauty. This is way off in the distance. This thing is huge. It's Great Pyramid big, and you don't realize it. And then when you walk and you go up and you see what's really going on with these stones and how it's put together, it is gorgeous art, and I couldn't believe its perfection and how it is preserved and put together. I've always thought that it was rough, and no. In fact, there were things about the step pyramid that I thought it was maybe the most beautiful pyramid in all of Egypt. It's just stunning to see, the Pyramid of Dozier.
They kind of look like the pyramids you would see in Mexico and Central America. And this one was built in 2950 BC. That is pretty amazing.
Now, here we are. This is a couple of days before. Same group, obviously, as everybody. But what's great about this picture? That's one side of the paw, and that's the other side of the paw of the Sphinx. Look at the size of it. Just look at the size of that. That's absolutely incredible. Now, again, This is the fence, the guardrail. You're not allowed to come down here in a normal day. That's where all the tourists are. But do you see anybody up there?
Not at all.
Not a single soul. We were all by ourselves. Just us.
And that makes the experience all that more special.
These two right here, that's Joyce and that's Joy, mother and daughter. And that, I'm going to tell you, these two here, they know how to do it. Man, those two. Her mom's a belly dancer, and she's just incredible. They live in Flagstaff. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, and this is Shah. She's the leader. This is, she's an Egyptologist. Great. This is Hector, lives in Louisiana. That's Matthew. That's Eva's fiance. I mean, I can just go on and on and on. There's Danny. She was amazing. I got some great pictures of her. This is Percy. I did the trip to Palm Springs with Billy a couple of months ago, sky watching. He was there with us. So it was great to have him along in Egypt. But yeah, this is the crew. And we are just friends for life. Friends for life. Okay, let's see what else I got here. What pictures did I miss? Let's just scroll through, and maybe I got everything. And this is just my Gomez folder, by the way. I didn't even get to the Colossi of Memnon.
We're doing a part 2.
Yeah. And so that's it on this camera roll. And let me see now. Let me back out. Okay. And let me see if I have another movie that hasn't been seen. Can I do we have time for one more movie?
Yeah, share it. What I was going to state was, when you experience Egypt for yourself, no picture and no video can even come close. It just simply cannot compare. And that's definitely the case for you specifically, where you've been talking about it, researching it for years, and then you go there and you can just hear this excitement in your voice, but also like you're still taken aback a week later coming back from Egypt, and you're still in this shock period.
Yeah. I have got so many photographs and images to go through. We didn't even touch upon. We didn't go. You have to see this to believe it. I'm all alone at the Great Pyramid. There's nobody here. You can see there's no tourists. There's no security. There's no nothing. I just came out. My bus right there. Nobody came out, and I was alone.
Just look at how big those stones are, each one ranging from about 5 tons to 20 tons.
And you can't even see the top of it.
No, because the original height of the pyramid was about 481 feet, I believe. Now, it has shrunk over the centuries, but it is just absolutely huge. And
what it means, not only to the
world, it's a 2.3 million blocks of stone to create that pyramid.
Check it out. That's just the first row. You can see it's above my head. That's the first row of blocks. All alone. Nobody around me to make noise. To interrupt my thoughts.
There have been people that have attempted to climb the pyramid as well.
Many people have climbed it.
Yeah. It's dangerous.
It's crazy. See, look, sun setting in the west. The temples just moving around. There's nobody here.
It's believed that it took about 20 years to build that one pyramid.
BS.
and originally thought by Egyptologists that took about 100,000 men, but then later on they said you got to be pretty skilled to create something like that. So then they had stated maybe it's about 20,000 skilled workers, and that is still a lot.
Walk along the pyramid. And enjoy myself. I'm going to sign out and go say hello to my friends.
I had to sign out because our security guy was with a police guy, and they came running up. I was getting ready to turn the corner. I was going to keep on going. I was all alone. They stopped me. I was like, nope, 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 nope. If you look in the video, you'll see right. You'll see. Hold on for a second. You can see him for a split second here, and you can. That's when I turn my head, and they're yelling, and he's like right there. He's right there. That's a cop. I was like, well, I'm going to sign off now. I thought I was in trouble. So, yeah, there you go. Pretty cool, huh?
It's very cool.
Okay. And so next week, the Serapeum, we can do Karnak. We'll do Luxor. Just that right there is enough. The Egyptian Museum, incredible. I've got some pictures of Akhenaten that when I reveal this to the world and I show you guys what's going on, it's going to cause some controversy. And so I've got those images. I'll share those with you next week. Some of this stuff I'm holding back for a documentary that I need to put together, and there's going to be some copyright issues in that. If I put it out there on the net, then it might get a little wonky with that. So I have to hold some stuff back. But we'll see over the next week or so. If you know what I mean. So there you go. Cristina, thank you so much. I've got Fader night tonight. I've got to...
the best night of the week.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's going to be a fun night tonight. So I'll see everybody tonight. Cristina, you're the absolute very best. And it's an honor and a privilege to not only, call you friend, but for you to bring me in here each week and put up with me. And thank you for that. And thank you, everybody. I'll see you tonight on the show. Bye for now.
Bye, Jimmy. What an interesting show today. We were able to see some exclusive videos and photos from Jimmy Church when he was spending his time in Egypt. And for his birthday, he had a pretty amazing birthday gift from the tour altogether. He was able to bathe inside of a very special lake. Now, I am looking forward to a part 2 on the mysteries of Egypt because there is still so much to cover. We could probably do 10 parts and it still wouldn't be enough. Out of all the things that you saw today or that you heard today, which one was your favorite? Steppenwolf, thank you so much. It says, awesome seeing this from so many new angles. Thanks, Cristina and Jimmy. Thank you, Steppenwolf. I really do appreciate that. Tomorrow is Strange Weekly News at 3 p.m. PST, so make sure to hit the notification bell on YouTube so that you do not miss some of the crazy articles that I have saved for you. Next week on Shifting the Paradigm, I have Tui Snyder, and we talk about graveyards, cemeteries, and the paranormal all happening in Texas. Very interesting interview to get ready for Halloween, the Halloween season, the spooky season, or as we call it right here on this channel, Ghost-tober. Before you head out, make sure to like this video. I will see you tomorrow. Be safe, and remember, keep your eyes on the skies.